Shut up and sit down.
That's awesome.
Hey, it's where the big boys play. S.I.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious.
Welcome to Square Green Podcast, everybody. Episode number 65. Today's going to be a quick one. We have a show coming up on Friday and Saturday. That is the Fan Fest number 2 with 60 legends and local legends, Bobby D, Belleville Zone, and the Big Texan Jim Hoffarth.
Well, I mean, I know you said over 60 legends, but I think we're close to 70 right now.
Yeah, I put 70 on our Instagram page and got a couple of emails going. It can't be that much, but, they just need to come and find out.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I mean, I know some of them got taken off because the NWA decided to go ahead and pop up a wrestling show that their guys wasn't originally scheduled for. They were actually supposed to be having a break, and then all of a sudden it popped up a new pay-per-view that they got going on. So that took out half of the Rock and Roll Express, took out what's his name, Storm, and another guy that was there from the NWA. And not to go off already on a different subject, did you know they're not coming back to St. Louis this year?
The NWA is not?
No, the NWA is not. They did NWA 74 here. They did NWA 75 here. But 76 is already come out that they're going to have it in Philadelphia.
I figured as much.
Yeah, it's so weird that, I know a lot of independent wrestling shows. When WrestleMania was in Philadelphia this year, a lot of independent shows automatically chase WrestleMania. And normally they have it the same week of WrestleMania leading up to it, They'll have a Thursday or a Friday night show. And then WrestleMania, of course, kicks in Saturday and Sunday. But it's kind of weird that the NWA is leaving St. Louis. That was supposed to be their start, resurrection, as you would say, to go chase where WrestleMania was. But I know that's just kind of off to the side there, but I just thought it was just weird.
Not really, because they're hemorrhaging money. So they need to go where they can get it really quick. And right now, because of WrestleMania, Philadelphia is pretty hot.
Well, that's the thing, though. WrestleMania is already done and over with. It was a month ago. I think they're coming next month, I think they're going there next month. So all the wrestling guys who flew in for WrestleMania already flew out, So I don't see where they're thinking about striking, getting the fans from there. But who knows? If you talk, there was an interview with Billy Corgan, and that was thrown at him. Well, we heard the NWA is, losing money, and he flipped the script and said, I'm a millionaire. I've got money coming in residually from the first albums of his band, and that he's okay with money, so the NWA is going to be okay with money. So, I don't know. It's
you can only hemorrhage so long before you decide it's a bad investment.
True.
Right.
True.
It's not a good to be a good businessman, you don't put your own money into it because you end up going bankrupt before your business will.
That's
I'm
true
gonna say
too.
now I'll give it to him that he can run a failing promotion longer than most, but it
Right.
still gets to a point to where you got to be like, okay, I'm losing enough.
Yeah. Now I do know he's got a couple shows coming on. The CW. One that's heavily being thrown at you is this one that goes behind the scenes of him running the company. So I might check that one out just to see.
See how not to do something?
Well, you never know. I mean, he might be. It was. We heard. I can't vouch for you two, but I've heard Herb say so many times that all he bought was the three letters, the NWA, and that on the little promotional thing, uh, the little commercial that they got going for this new show. He even says, when I bought the NWA, all I bought really was the three letters. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I wonder where he heard that from.
He's somebody that talked to all the time. What a surprise.
Right.
No, I thought Billy was going to go in a better direction, but it seems like for every step he takes forward, he's getting three back.
Well, I think his problem is, he only had so many people under contract. Like his top, five people were under contract, and the rest were paid as you showed up. And he lost a few people, because of that. He lost his women's. Well, it was the former women's champion of the NWA. She's now in AEW, and her name is Camellia, I think, or Camilla. Um, and she was like the longest reigning NWA Women's Champion in his period. And can't remember this other lady's name, but you remember Johnny Nitro, or
Yep.
his wife was working for the NWA. And it was something kind of cool because she used to wear, well, she still does, she still wrestles. She wore boots like Bruiser Brody, where they were fur boots. I can't remember her name, Tyra or Tyron or something like that. But she too also is, you can catch her in AEW, and you can catch her other places. But and then of course he lost Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis is,
Taya Valkyrie.
yeah, that's her right there. But he lost Nick Aldis, and now he's working for WWE, so he's losing all of his guys, all of his main guys, and then he's putting the championship on former WWE guys. Tyrus had it. Then after Tyrus, now EC3 has it. So it's, I don't know what to say. I mean, I heard EC3 is a great guy. He's actually taken over teaching Brandon. He's Brandon's going up there and working for him now. So that's kind of cool for Brandon. And so I can't really dog EC3, but EC3 is the NWA heavyweight champion.
Yeah, but you can already see cracks in his federation. I mean, when you don't put guys under contract, that's the sign of dwindling funds.
Right.
It's kind of a guarantee. This is what you're going to make each year. He just doesn't have the money or the funds or the investors, because I wouldn't put money into it at this point.
Anyway, we totally got off the subject there. So let's. So this weekend, man, is everything for St. Louis fans and all across the world, basically, because I know there's people coming from all over. Going to be hitting St. Louis this weekend. It is basically our version of WrestleMania, SICW's version of WrestleMania. And ours is a 2-night packed thing as well. Starting off with Bill Apter's one-man show. That's going to be this Friday, May 17th. The tickets are already sold out, so if you got them already, you were smart. If you don't got them, sorry. But so it's going to be very interesting. Bill has only done this a handful of times where he's gone around and done a one-man show. And I know it says one-man show, but he's already kind of told everyone that Medusa's going to be there with him. Teddy Long's going to be out there with them. And I'm sure where Teddy, Mac Davis is going to follow. So it should be a very interesting show, but it's supposed to be like a comedy routine slash like Q&A and then road stories and
Trivia.
Trivia. So it should be really cool. I already got my tickets to that. I don't know if you guys got your tickets to that.
And they're already sold out, if I remember seeing that posted.
Right. So that'll be very cool. That is Friday nights. And then let's see here. We got Saturday is the big day. Starts at 10 a.m. And, that is going to be the Fan Fest. That's going to run, I think, until like 4, because I think 5 o'clock, so it starts the St. Louis Hall of Fame. So, figuring out 10 to 4, so that's 6 hours, over 60 legends, close to 70, and they're going to be great legends and people you need to meet now. Ado the Butcher, he's not getting any younger. So if you haven't met Ado the Butcher, you need to come see him. Stan Hansen's going to be there. JBL's coming back. Greg Gagne's going to be there. The list is just crazy. I think let's see here. Sergeant Slaughter, our best friend Haku, Dan Severn, talking about that WWE UFC connection there. Tommy Rich, all these guys are great friends of ours. Haku is like hands down one of our friends. Dan Severn, I spent some time with him. He when he came through last year, he came through and did a wrestling seminar. And of course, I brought all the Ace guys there to have that. And then Bobby, you also dealt with him because he did a seminar for your youth camp.
Yeah, the professional Sean Soto, he was on his break from our wrestling, but he still coaches a little league team as well. He had set that up, so I took Landon out there, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
you can tell the guy has a lot of passion.
Oh yeah. Tommy Rich,
a guy that NWA Jim champion. You did a couple of commercials with. Ron Powers is going to be
there. Ron Powers. He's supposed to be there too. Tommy Rich is going to be there. We did a seminar with Tommy. Our good friend of the podcast, James Beard. This is the guy who lent us all of his stories about the Von Erichs. Talked about the movie The Iron Claw with us. And is also still to this day our number one podcast that we've done. Greg Valentine, personal connection with me. He was my first legend I ever wrestled. Let's see here. Medusa, we already talked about. Wendy Richter. Teddy Long, of course. Jimmy Hart, who is going to be running around with Nathan all day. Because Jimmy Hart's going to be the host. Tito Santana. The Godfather. Another guy you should meet and I say that meet pretty soon. You need to meet him because he's getting a little older too, and that's Akeem. Coco Beware is going to be there. Let's see here. I already said JBL, so yeah. The list just goes on and on. There's going to be over 60 people, and I'm sure. Nate's got the picture right there. It's just going to be great. So it's 6 hours. You can come in there. Talk with these legends, meet them, get your autographs. Can't go over price because each individual one has their own prices for things. If you're into toys and figures, Greg Gagne is bringing all of his figures. He's got that new line of wrestling figures out that's got Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, of course, Vern Gagne. It's got Luthez. That's the one that I want to get from him.
Well, did you see what I'm putting out tomorrow morning on our YouTube page in honor of what's coming this weekend?
No, I didn't. What did you put out?
I'm putting out Luthez and Vern Gagne's 1 hour wrestling match up in Chicago from the 50s.
Nice.
That is going to be great because Vern Gagne and Luthez used to fight all the time. As a matter of fact, it was them fighting all the time that made Vern Gagne get out of the NWA and go start his own AWA because Vern was not in the heavyweight status, but they wrestled all the time. And so the NWA never allowed him to win the NWA championship. So it was like a big middle finger in the air to them and said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company. And of course, he was a multi-time AWA heavyweight champion. But you know how that kind of works out. You start your own company, you do your own thing.
I've heard of that
So
before.
yeah, that's definitely gonna be a classic, though. I might have the A students watch that tomorrow too. And
It's
then,
great. I mean, at the beginning, you can see where Vern actually gets hurt and he stays down for a little bit. But because he's Vern, he continues the match for another 50 minutes.
oh well, you know what? They're in Luthez's book that he wrote, and I've read this thing probably 2 or 3 times. Um, and it's a funny name too. It's called The Hooker. But in wrestling terms, that means totally something different. But he talks about how, in different matches, back in the day, in order to win belts or keep belts, sometimes you had to injure your opponent. And, and everyone wanted to challenge Luthez, because he was the man. And, he would wrestle, and sometimes he would have, fingers broken or different things pulled, during the match. And he would not let it be known, because if he would have let it be known, then they would strike harder on the hands or strike harder on his, legs if he pulled a muscle or something like that. And he said that you had to learn to bear and grin it, just get through it. And then, him being a hooker, which is someone who can literally get you to, tap out if he wanted to or get you to quit by doing the same thing, basically. He would bear and grin it until he can get his opponent in the same style of a hold or something and get that tap out easier. But yeah, definitely great book to read. There's so many versions of that book, though, mainly because when he wrote the book, he was up in age, and he wrote things down as he could recall them. And some people would actually, get a hold of them and say, that's not how it actually happened. And it would trigger a memory. And so the next edition, he would change it and put that in there. And so each, copy of the books, there's so many versions of the book. And I know Larry Manisek had one of the first additions to that book because it was literally a manuscript basically stapled together. And I know Herb Simmons has got that copy of that now. So totally a cool book to read through. But yeah, I mean, so many freaking people is going to be there this weekend, man. If you're a wrestling fan, this would be the place to go. May 18th, the Aviator Hotel. It's 20 minutes away from the airport, 10 minutes away from the Arch. So, you can come in on Friday, Friday morning, do some things around St. Louis, hit the Bill After thing Friday night, hit the Fan Fest, Saturday morning, and then we got the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame that's going to start at 5-ish, I would say. It all depends on how quickly we can get the room turned around from a Fan Fest into a place that we can have a stage and everything. Last year we had the ring in the in the room already set up, and that's where it was held. This year I don't know if we're going to do that. Since we got over 70, around 70 legends. Last year was a very tight squeeze, so we're already talking about not having the ring set up.
Yeah, last
That
time
way
I
we
talked
have
to
more
Nick,
room.
yeah, last time I talked to Nick, he said it was not going to be set up, not enough room.
Yeah, I mean we'll figure that out Friday. When the ring crew gets there. I always help out in the ring crews, so even as the champion, you're never too far away from not like Jimmy Hart. We talked about stories about Jimmy Hart. When he came in, he would help set up and tear down. Even though I'm the champion there, I'm not too big to know that as any good wrestler, you should help tear down and set up and everything. So
And when he says
Well,
that, he means he yells at all the trainees from the Ace Academy, pick that up, go.
right, I tell them, hey,
I
I'm too old to
yeah,
pick that up. You pick that up.
I supervise, and when putting together, I say, well, this is where the cameras are going to be, so keep that in mind.
But yeah, so the St. Louis Hall of Fame, there's a couple of the female wrestlers from the St. Louis that wrestled for Wrestling at the Chase. It's going into the Hall of Fame. Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. is going into the Hall of Fame. Um, you know,
Wendy
Gary
Richter was
Johnson.
one.
Yeah.
I say I'm looking for the post right now. I remember Wendy Richter was one.
So Wendy Richter is very popular about 80s rock and wrestling, connection that Vince McMahon did with MTV, uh, where, she was good friends with Captain Lou Albano.
George Abe is going in. He was a ringside announcer and radio host.
Captain Lou Albano.
Everybody would know him from Cyndi Lauper's videos.
Yes. So it was,
There it
I'm
is.
all shaking.
Leilani Kai. That was the other girl that I remember.
There you go, Lonnie Kai. But
Judy
Well, on our
Martin.
YouTube,
Judy Martin
yeah,
and Wendy Richter as well.
on our YouTube page, we posted a match from Wendy Richter before she came to St. Louis. She was out in L.A.
Oh, I mean, that was back in the territories, so you had to wrestle everywhere for a few months and then get shipped off to another territory. And then eventually she made her way up to WWF at the time, and that's where she became a women's champion. Uh, you know, uh, so yeah, three valuable women in who worked the St. Louis area going into the Hall of Fame. And then, like I said, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. is going into the Hall of Fame, who was basically a St. Louis legend. He's lived here in the St. Louis area for a long time. Randy grew up here in the St. Louis area and now lives back here in the St. Louis area. And the whole family's going to be there. So yes, I'm just going to flat out say it. Randy's going to be there. His other son's going to be there. His daughter, his sister. Bob's sister, of course. So they're all going to be there. So it's so cool that the WWE is going to let him do it.
Well, they put him
You
on a
know,
leave of absence so it doesn't hurt his contract.
well, I mean, so he's only disappearing for one night. And speaking of Randy, he's still in the King of the Ring tournament right now.
Yep.
He just beat AJ Styles to stay in it. So I don't know if Friday night he's going to be in another match and then, come straight back home, Saturday morning and then come straight to the Hall of Fame to give the speech. But yeah, the whole Orton family is going to be there. So that is going to be very cool. Randy's a St. Louis homegrown wrestler. He started at South Broadway. He had his very first wrestling match at South Broadway. Um, Me and Bobby, when we went training down there was a picture of him. Uh, it's a little chubbier version of him, before he, thinned down and put the muscle on and everything like that. But it was kind of cool seeing the before and what he looks like now, because right now he's just a beast.
Well, Brandon reminds me a little bit of Randy, because when Brandon first started, he was chubby, and now he's looking the part.
I call Brandon now Brock Lesnar Jr. He looks more like Brock Lesnar now than anything. But so I mean, the Hall of Fame is probably going to last about an hour, maybe a little bit more, but that's going to give us a break time to actually, again, change the room around and get it set up for the wrestling show, which is, the main part of this wrestling show is what Bobby's got in the back room of his room there. The Bruiser Brody, Tony Costa, Larry Matysek Battle Royal Trophy. So that's a match we have every year. Every year in May, it's a tribute. It started as a tribute to Bruiser Brody, but as the other two guys unfortunately passed away, we've added their names to this trophy as well. And they've both have such a heritage in the St. Louis area. Larry Matysek was the call guy for Wrestling at the Chase. He was the ring announcer. He did the play-by-play. Basically he was the collector, because back in the day, Sam Mushnick would just reuse the same reels. So as they were sent off to TV, they would take those back and re-record the next, shows and throw it back on. But it was Larry Matysek who actually saved them and recorded them, and that's how we got the footage that we got today. Otherwise, the footage would be lost.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to put anything out.
Yeah.
It'd be
And then Tony Costa, a good promoter who gave me and Bobby not our first start, but gave us our first foot in the door, and eventually gave us the run that we got. So yeah, two great guys, actually three great guys. Bruiser Brody, that poster over my shoulder there. He was, besides being very good friends with Herb and Larry Matysek, he was a staple in St. Louis. He was the last Rebel, one of the biggest guys who never had a contract, to work for the WWE or WCW. He was still able to pick his territories and work how he wanted to work, when he wanted to work. So that's pretty much why they call him the last Rebel. Plus, he was the guy you didn't want to mess with. If you owed him money, beware. He was the guy not to stiff. But so we pay tribute to him every year. And every year his widow, Barbara Goodish, comes in. And whoever wins that battle royal, there she is right there with Bobby D. Whoever wins that battle royal, she actually gets in the ring and gives you that trophy. So I mean, that's a big high honor as well. I was lucky enough to win that once. Bobby is the only one who's won it two times and back to back. And I was watching a podcast last night. They had Herb Simmons on it, and he goes, "Wouldn't it be great if Bobby D could win it three times, back to back to back?" So,
all right, Bobby. Question. Let's go off that. How nervous are you?
You can't think about stuff like that. There's going to be so many bodies and everything flying around that ring. You can't think of stuff like that. You just got to duck and dodge and throw where you can.
Yes.
Now, before I go out there, I might have some nerves going on. But once you get in that ring, like, all that has to go aside.
Now, quick clarification. I know I should know, but I don't. Since we observe old style St. Louis wrestling rules during the Bruiser Brody Cup, can you get eliminated going over the?
Well, I mean, that's how you do get eliminated. Is by
so it's only over, not just out.
No pins, no submissions. You got to go over the top to the floor. So if you go over the top on the ring apron and then back in, you're not eliminated.
Okay, so just always hit for that middle space. Or between the top and second rope.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Well, our action cameraman will be there. Just aim for his head, as long as the camera doesn't get hit, and
Just
it's
like
a
jump
good
off his
show.
head, jump back in.
Yeah, just
Go
Amy,
Kofi,
smooth kick
go
and bounce
Kofi
off.
Kingston style.
Yeah.
guys, give me 1 second. I'm gonna check on my little mutt. She seems to be chewing on something, and in this room, she's not allowed to chew anything. So give me a second.
Probably your phone cord or something.
Probably. All right, Bobby, quick question. Bruiser Brody or Haku? In an alley, in a fight, who you going with? Because both of them are
Haku.
guys you didn't want to piss off.
Haku.
Okay, you think so?
Brody was big and scary, but Haku will rip your eyeball out.
All right.
And
I don't care
chew
how
on your
tough.
nose.
I don't
She
care
was
how
actually
tough you are
chewing
when
on a
your
bone,
eyeball is
so it
ripped
was
out.
good.
I don't care how
Too many
tough you are when
voices.
your eyeball gets ripped out. You're fucked.
Yeah. All right, Jim, what about you? Haku or Bruiser Brody in an alley at night? Who's winning?
Man, that's gonna be very hard, because Bruiser always carried a chain with him.
He did.
So if he's carrying his chain and he's swinging it, I hate to say it, but I would go for Bruiser. Um, if Bruiser allowed Haku to get close to him, that might be something different, because Haku is known to pop some eyeballs out. And you can't do shit if you can't see. So,
I feel like Haku's head's hard enough. He's gonna let the chain hit him and just keep coming.
At a pure meanness, as Clint would say, yeah?
that's definitely true. So, yes, I mean, they're two tough guys that I would not want to see in an alley in the dark. So the world may never know. It's like how many licks till it gets to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop.
Depends on the flavor of the Tootsie Roll.
No, the owl from the commercial taught me that it's 3.
That's
Everybody
true. That's
watching
true.
who know who Bruiser Brody is or was, and Haku, who would you think? And while you're down there putting your comment, hit subscribe and hit the bell.
Definitely, and share it too, because we love to get this content out to as much people as we can. We're still trying to get that magical number of 500 on YouTube. I know we're still young when it comes to podcasts, and even like I was on a podcast for a guy in New York City, and he said podcasts are really hard, because most of the podcasts, unless you are directed mainly covering like the big guys, WWE or you know AEW, it's very hard for a podcast to be noticed. And since ours is a little mainly focused on SICW, but we still branch out and talk about WWE and AEW and everything, it's still a little bit hard for our stuff to get out there. So anything you guys can do to help us out would be much obliged. Um, I love to talk about other things. I get into the action figure lines and talk about those. We get into collegiate wrestling with Bobby and his son, which he's got a graduation coming up too this weekend. So you got a very busy, well, we got a very busy weekend, I guess you would say, because definitely I'm not missing that. So,
And we just got back from Minnesota this past weekend with him wrestling.
whew.
Yeah, he did
7.5
well
hours
too.
each way.
It's crazy. It's going to be a very long, great, interesting weekend. But yeah, so the Bruiser Brody Battle Royals that night. We got Miranda Gordy wrestling that night. Um, you know, I'm sure Attila is going to be wrestling someone that night. We don't have the full card. It has not been released yet.
So you got Miranda Gordy versus Tatovic the Gamer. That one's on here.
Yes. I'm wrestling that night. I'm putting the title on the line against a former friend turned foe.
Oh,
Bull Bronson, which is, I was trying to explain to someone the other day what Bull looks like, and I said, about my height, just bigger. You know, he is a big guy, and
Put a nose ring on him, and he looks like a bull without any horns.
there you go. So it's definitely going to be an interesting match. You know, it's not going to be as scientific of a match like I normally have. Okay, well, so I normally don't have a scientific match, but so it's going to be right around the same as you expect from the Big Texan. But
I know, I was
definitely,
expecting Power Rangers teleportation shit.
no, I only do that on every other weekend, so it's not the right weekend for it.
Now,
But
Jim,
Uh,
is
now
Steve Fender putting up the Central States title?
not from my
yeah,
understanding, only Greg Anthony's putting up his title.
Only Greg,
yes.
okay.
So Steve Fender has a chance to be a 3-belt guy. You know, so he's got the AIWF national title. He's got the SICW Central States title, the formerly known as the Bobby D title. But he's got a chance to win the AIWF World Heavyweight title. So he might have one up on me because I'm currently 2 titles as well. I got the Shriners title and I got the SICW title, which I think I can announce. Here in Belleville, we do a Shriners parade, and looks like they already put me out there that I will be in that parade, so you should be able to catch me, holding that title. I'll be sitting on the top of my my Chevy Camaro, top down, hopefully if it's not raining, and letting that title be shown to the world. So be very
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, Bobby, that's why you were texting me to rotten some tomatoes and eggs. He's going to
Yeah,
be
like
out and
and let him
about on
start
that?
sitting out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
Awesome,
also be in that
guys.
parade, but I'll be driving my truck for the Little Devils.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been driving in there the past couple of years.
So that is cool. I mean, last year I just went up there to hand out flyers for our wrestling show, which was later that night, and I had the SICW title during that parade. So I was just walking around with that title, just handing out flyers, saying, "Hey, come to the Belle Claire Fairgrounds later on tonight." And then then I ended up winning their championship. And so this year, since I'm still retaining their championship, they're going to put me out there. So very cool, very cool.
Now, I was just
But
on Herb's page looking for any other matches announced. I'm not seeing that, but we should mention 2 raffle items that are going to be there: an
oh my God,
autographed guitar by the Honky Tonk Man, and then that Bruiser Brody painting that looks like a portrait.
yes, those 2
And
things for me.
I mean, you can spend as little as $10 and win either one. It's not
Well,
a silent auction where you got to bid a high dollar. It's just a drawing with the raffle ticket.
yeah, and the raffle tickets for the Bruiser Brody picture, and it's not like the one that's over my shoulder. This one's in black and white, and it's got him in motion. I think he might be swinging the chain or something like that. But that
I don't
raffle
know.
tickets, they
I
are
can grab
$5 a
that.
piece. And the guitar with the honky tonk signature, that one is $10 a piece. Now there's unlimited tickets for the guitar, but only 100 for the Bruiser Brody portrait. So I mean, I'm probably going to throw some money towards both of those because I think both of them are freaking awesome. There's the Bruiser Brody one. That is great. But the guitar, those things that you can actually get autographed that remind you of the person. Like, who would have thought to have a guitar autographed? Most of the time it's a picture or, a wrestling action figure still in the box. But actually to bring a guitar, and it's like Jerry King Lawler, having him sign a crown, because that's what he's known for, is wearing the crown.
Oh, that would be
Honky
awesome.
Tonk Man is known for smashing a guitar over his opponents. So that is just that is something very cool. You can hang up on your wall. As soon as you see the guitar, you know who it is, and that's just, to me, that's awesome.
And that
Well, I
portrait's a
want.
24 by 30, so it's a pretty good size too.
I don't have a picture of the guitar, but I'm going to put money to it, and if I win it, I want him to smash one of you guys with it, and I'll put it on the wall.
Why would you do that? It's autographed.
It'll be an
No,
autographed in the ring used the Honky Tonk Man guitar.
that's smashed. It's not going to be worth anything.
It's not
Especially if you
about the
smashed
money.
over Bobby's head. Bobby's head is going to go right through that autograph signature part, and then you won't see it no more.
I'll probably start chewing on it. You're a little hungry.
Hey, I just wanted to show these off. I was given these by a friend, actually a friend of SICW. His name's Maddie. These are the programs that Larry Matisek used to send out to promote the next week's, Wrestling at the Chase card. And so it kind of shows, like on this one, it shows Ric Flair here, Ted DiBiase down here,
That was when
and
he
it
was
goes,
$1,000 man.
yeah, and then Bruiser Brody, it talks about David Von Erich going against Bruiser, and all these are really classic. They're cool. They're programs. They talk about the old wrestling matches. These things are great. I actually had one previous to this package that I got that talks about Ric Flair going against Harley Race, and then I was able to meet both of those guys and have them both sign it. And that's like one of my holy grails that I got. That I would have loved to met Bruiser Brody because I was a fan of his as a kid. But unfortunately, to his untimely passing or murder, which that guy is still walking around free, who never got convicted of it. He passed before I was actually able to meet him.
We'll all meet him in 100 years.
True. 100 years. I'm probably going to meet him in a few years. But anyway, so yeah, this weekend is jam packed with legends. So many people's going to be there. Herb made it very cheap for you guys to get in the door. So go to sicw.org. You can still buy your tickets online, or you can even go up to the show and buy your tickets right then and there. They will not refuse you. He's already said that, everyone who shows up, you can buy tickets to it. He'll let you in. This is such a fan-friendly weekend. Even the one-man show Friday night was only $25 a ticket. I don't remember what the tickets were for the Fan Fest and the wrestling and the Hall of Fame, but I know they broke it down to if you just wanted to go to the Fan Fest, you can do that. If you wanted to go to the wrestling show, you can do that. But even all together, it
I'd
was
say I
not.
just went to the website, so I have it all sitting here. I don't see Hall of Fame broke apart. They got the wrestling show tickets for $25. You got Fan Fest for $45, or if you want to bundle them for $60.
Yeah, so I mean, hands down, that is the cheapest Fan Fest going.
And on here, it's saying what we already said, the bill after show sold out.
So I mean, I just went to a Fan Fest not too long ago in Indiana. Paid more for that, and we definitely have more legends than that one did. So hands down, this is the one to come to. It's going to be a great weekend for wrestling. So just come on down, and you can meet Nasty Nate. I'm sure he'll love to film you. You can do something stupid, and we'll put you on YouTube. Talk to Bobby, talk to me. We'll have a table. We'll sit down and talk to you guys as you come through. It's just going to be one hell of a good weekend. Yeah, I
most
can't
of the
wait.
time
I'm
I'll
really
be
excited
with.
about it.
Yeah, most of the time I'll be with Jimmy Hart, but you can still come talk if you want.
Oh yeah, you can do the whole bunny ears behind Nate's head.
That only Jimmy will see.
That's true. Maybe do it behind Jimmy's head.
There you go.
Hey, I know we are gonna keep it short this week, just because we're going into the Mayfest, Fan Fest, and we'll have a bunch of video for you next week, and probably the weeks after that. As Nate's able to get it published and stuff. But last year Nate was able to run around with Drew and get some video of the people, the legends that were there. This time he's going to be running around with Jimmy Hart, like we already talked about. So it's going to be a lot of footage. So maybe the next couple of weeks we'll air a few video clips of it throughout the podcast. And, then it's going to lead up to June 1st to the racing at, the wrestling at the raceway. But we'll talk about that next week.
Say it. Say it.
No, I'm not going to say it. One of you two guys say that.
Melee on the Midway. Saturday.
So I was just doing a quick Google search for something we can compare to that's not that terribly far away from us. The Lou Thez and Waterloo, Iowa Hall of Fame and shows. Their tickets for the all access pass, not with the banquet because we don't have a banquet, is $90.
Yes. Yeah.
You want to go to the banquet too? That's $125.
Yeah.
My experience, banquets just aren't all that great.
This one is actually really cool. I went to it last year for the first time. I'm going to go back to it this year. But, hands down for the price that Herb is charging for his Fan Fest, it's a great deal for SICW and for the fans. Iowa is a great time, but to me, it's two separate things. Because the banquet is a formal dinner, kind of like the CAC does, where their version of the Hall of Fame, the guy gets up, gets awarded, does a speech and everything, which is very cool. We're not doing that, but as you can tell from what Bobby just wrote off, $90 compared to
60.
60. So
$30 cheaper per person. Because people usually don't come alone either.
When I was there last year, they probably had maybe 20 or 25 legends for their version of the Fan Fest. And we're going to have almost 70. So you also got to compare that too. So hands down, this weekend, St. Louis is the place to be. But like I said, we're going to take it, have a shorter show tonight. We really just wanted to but talk to you guys about that Fan Fest and how great it is. There's one more thing that I always like to toss in there, my eBay buys of the week. And I got 3. I showed one of them earlier. This is the Captain Lou Albano. This is the 4-inch LJN.
From the music video.
What?
From the music video.
From the music video, yes. Yeah. Then I got the Macho Man, Randy Savage. I'm almost done with this whole line. I only need one more, and this is Andre the Giant, which Chris Owens is going to be there this weekend as well, bringing his Andre the Giant memorabilia, and I'll post some pictures of that too, because Chris Owens has got a lot. And there's this life-size poster that I was able to stand next to, and Andre was still a full head taller than me. And I'm a pretty tall guy.
Hopefully, Chris, if you're watching this, you bring me my ultimate Andre picture. When he was painted like the ultimate. It's when he was painted like the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't quite know where you were going with that. And, my mind went south, and I'm thinking, oh, I know what he wants. But
Well, we'll just wait and see what Saturday brings. Yeah.
But last year he brought the beer can that Andre is famously in a picture with, where you can barely, you couldn't really see the beer can. Andre's hand covered the whole beer can and looked like it wasn't there. So the display is awesome. He's got a lot of the clothing. He's got his passports. Um, just so many pictures, rare pictures of him from over in Japan. So Chris Owens, great guy, and it's so crazy, and it's good for him that not that many people just focus on one guy. If you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan, and you collect a whole bunch of stuff. But he just narrowed down to Andre, and it's so cool that he did that because he saved so many things that could have been lost if no one would have paid attention to him. So awesome to see him coming back this year. He was there last year. I've seen him many places. He was in Iowa as well. So very cool to see Chris Owens again. But I think that's all we got. You guys got anything else?
Nope. I say I just, hopefully not the last time we see this on this podcast, but get a couple drinks out of her before the show this weekend.
There you go. There you go. Sounds great.
Hope you guys make us
we'll-
proud. I've always bragged about our podcast having more gold than anybody else's, so we need to keep it up.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
we need to
Friday
defend our
after
gold then.
the Bill Apter thing, we can do a nice big old drink fest out of that cup. That'd be awesome.
It holds a lot since I sealed it.
That's awesome. All right.
Food grade silicone?
Yeah.
I mean, it is after I drank the toxins out of it.
All right. From everyone from the Square Ring Podcast, I know it's a shorter one, but I hope you still like it. Share the shit out of it. Please help this channel out. And if anything, we'll see you this weekend at FanFest. All right. You guys have a good one. See you.
All right, we'll see.